Hey there, drawing students. For today's lesson, this is week 4, we're going to be using a toned surface to draw on. What I would usually have people use is gray mat board, which is sort of thick and smooth and has a tone to it. Gray isn't critical. It could be any sort of like neutral color, like a brown or tan or something, but I like to work on gray. If you don't have a surface like gray mat board, you can use gray like drawing paper. Like I've got a little pad of it here with various different tones of gray. There's a little more texture to this than mat board, but this works well. You can also, if you've got none of those things, work on what's called chipboard, which is often like the sort of smooth brown cardboard that is at the back of like a sketchbook, for instance. Or you could try taking white drawing paper and toning it. Here I just used a gray marker and kind of put down a gray base, which could work fine too, I think. I'm going to do my demo on gray mat board. I have selected a photo of an eyeball, and I just typed eye photography. And I'm going to be working from this photo on the gray mat board. I've already sketched out my eye fairly lightly. I'm going to move this down so you can see, double checking our camera here. I've used a really light sort of a peach color to start out here. What are you guys seeing? You guys are seeing this. Okay. And what I'm going to, I sketched it out to save a little time, but what I'm going to do is take a white colored pencil. I'm looking at that photo and I'm looking at everything that's actually white. And I can vary the pressure of my white colored pencil to create the shadow, because in my photo it gets gray over here, and so I can sort of press lighter as I come across, whereas as I'm close to the iris here it's a little bit brighter. And I'll do it over on this side as well. And I like to start with my lights, my whites. I usually come back in and brighten things up later on, so I don't go quite as bright as I should maybe in the end. But just to kind of reserve the spaces on the page for what's going to be white. There's a little bit of white that hits this top eyelid in my photo. There is a highlight that exists right here. Looks kind of like that. And another highlight that looks kind of like that. Probably a window reflection there in the eye. There's a little bit of a line there. And then let me check for other places that are just kind of bright here. So a little bit of light hits there. I'm not pressing hard on these because what I'm going to be more doing is using a skin tone lightness, such as my favorite is the cream colored pencil. I also have sort of a range of browns that I'm going to be using for shading, a range of pinks, and a couple of other colors too. But now that I have that, sort of the whites mapped in, I'm going to go in with a little bit of the cream for the light areas in the skin that I really don't want them to feel white, necessarily like white, but more of a skin tone color. And I'm generally skipping those areas that would have lots of shadow in them. There's quite a mass of light skin right above the eye before the eyebrow starts, and above the eyebrow there. Okay, and I'm just going to grab and put in a little bit of the pink peach sort of tone here and there. A lot of this is going to get blended later on with other colors, but it kind of gives you a sense of what's going on. There's quite a bit of pink in this shape here, and a little bit in the white of the eye. Alright, what shall I do? I'm going to switch to a medium brown and then a dark brown to start mapping in shadow areas. And I'm not going to be shy on building up shadow areas to be fairly dark as I go. But I rarely will put just one color down and press hard. Usually I'm doing a lot of blending. Alternating colors, getting some gradations and modulations here and there. I think that because some of these shapes in my photo are a warmer brown and some of them are a cooler brown. And I just kind of have to identify, like, this is a darker and cooler pencil. I just have to kind of identify what I need to go where. That upper eyelid line. Now, we've been using marker and colored pencil. For this one, I'm primarily asking you to use colored pencil, but it is totally okay to do what I'm doing right now with the pupil, with a black marker if you wanted, and then do your tone over it. I've seen some people work on gray mat board and use little bits of marker for dark shapes first. You can. You don't have to. Pupil. What else is black here? I might hit just a little bit of the edge of the iris. I'm going to be blending some blue in there, but it feels like it's a pretty dark value. Here, it's pretty dark. And definitely this edge. Usually wait till a little later to do eyelashes because it's harder to color between these lines. I also make sure my black's really sharp, but the way to draw them when you get there is this. And probably these eyes are quite a bright blue. This is my light blue. I'm using those radial line patterns here. Here I'm finding my darkest blue. Using those radial line patterns. And then I'll be using a medium blue to kind of blend those together. And there are a couple of other colors I'll probably use in there too. This goes really dark up there. And let's see. Got quite a bright line right there. Grab some pink. Into there. I do a lot of alternating of pencils as I work. I'm not going to finish this whole drawing on video, but I can post the finished drawing so you can kind of see how it develops. I think you've got enough information here to really progress into this, but I am going to go back in and slightly brighten some of those whites, those early whites that I made first, and maybe I'll introduce a little bit of a darker gray into that shadow side of the eye. And how about a little black? Alternating, stirring, blending, softening. A little bit of cream in there. Okay, I will continue this and post the finished result picture up on the weekly snapshot page. Enjoy exploring this. Again, you can try it on a variety of surfaces, but a smooth mid-tone is kind of your best bet. And good luck.